Okay, this video is about how to use the Riese and Muller website to pick a bike for yourself and check all the specs and that kind of thing. So from the homepage, we'll start out. You see they got lots of things here. To get to the bikes, you can either hit all bikes or menu bikes. So I'm going to go all bikes. Now you've got this collection of all the bikes you can see. Now we're going to pick one. So on this page, they tell you all about this bike, the things that are cool about it, videos convincing you to buy it, and it says from 11,249. So the most basic configuration of this bike would cost that much. Because we're in the New Zealand website, this is accurate. Now, if you actually want to see the configurations, pricing, specs, all that sort of thing, you've hit that link that I hit, the configure, and you'll see now there's a lot of bikes here. You can think of these as the models. Homage is it's the model, sure, but it's the family of these models. These are each a different model of bike, and in amongst each, there's options. So let's say we go to HS for high-speed, Vario for the New Vinci gears and belt drive, and we want to know more about that. So let's configure it. Okay, and now you're just inside that model. And down the bottom here are all the different things that you can configure. So this is the standard battery, and here's a dual battery option. Now, this one thing that's great about this website, if you pick an option that doesn't work, it'll tell you. It'll say you can't have dual battery unless you choose blue as the color. Now, that's quite unusual. It's specific to the Homage. And the reason is that the dual battery in the Homage was done in a very different way to most of their bikes, where both of the batteries are coming out of that down tube. So this is quite clearly a different frame style, or different frame anyway, when it's dual battery. And for whatever reason, they chose to do that one in blue only and not white as well. So that's what it's doing there. And that's good, because it means whatever you configure here is possible. So as you can imagine, if I hit that, it's not going to let me unless we change the battery. So sometimes you get those kind of things, and it'll guide you to what you can have. So here's the frame sizes and heights. If you're at the lower end of a height, let's say you're 170, well, let's say you're 180 centimeters. A lot of people will then think that they should get that one. Particularly men, for whatever reason, they always want to think, they identify as taller than they are, perhaps. Don't be tempted to do that. Drop a size. The Riese and Muller bikes are big, so I very rarely have someone who's on the bottom end of the sizing, on the top end of the sizing thing, and finding it's a real problem for them. But I do more often get the other way. If someone was 1.75 and they bought this 54 centimeter, look, it might work, but it might not. Whereas if someone was 1.8 meters and got this, it's going to work. Would they have preferred this? Yeah, possibly, but much more often goes the other way. So that's my comment on sizing. Now you've got the screens. So you can see which screens are available. So you can choose the smartphone on this bike, for example, or the kiosk cockpit. So you've got a few choices here. Comfort kit. Now they usually give you a little blurb telling you what they are. So in this case, it's more upright riding position. So I'll choose that. Now I think there's some screens that don't work with that handlebar, maybe. Okay, no, perhaps not. That'll work with any. Okay, the equipment option. This is whether or not you have the off-road stuff. So again, if you hover here, if you press here, it'll tell you what's different. So different tires, basically. Now, if I hit that, you also get a handy little photo telling you what to expect. But note that that photo does not stick on the final configuration. You'll still have a picture of a bike that may not have that tire, but you know what you've got here. Okay, front carrier. Now with these kind of things, if you waited till you got the bike in New Zealand and then decided to get the front carrier, it's probably going to be okay. We're probably going to have one and we can just add it, but this will tell you the costing anyway. So lowerable saddle, better known as dropper seat post. Yeah, you can choose that there. If you're interested in this product, definitely get it from the factory. It's not always so straightforward adding them after the fact. Okay, so as you change these, the price has been changing all along from your choices. This little summary tells you what options you chose and whether or not they changed the price, starting from the base price to the total. Now you might remember this base price is higher than that original from figure that we saw, and that's because this model is not the cheapest one. So it would be a different model that came out to that from. So in this case, that's what it's going to cost. Now this is set up properly for New Zealand, again having that there in the thing. So this is correct. It includes GST and it includes freight to New Zealand. So that is exactly what you'll be paying. It includes sea freight. So we have different videos talking about how that works and how long it takes to get them here. But basically, if you've chosen a bike just off our catalog of things on their way or something already in the store, or if it's made to order, that's the cost, and it included the sea freight to get it here. If you chose air freight, so that as soon as the bike is manufactured, it can be flown to New Zealand, saving about 3 months probably on your waiting time, it'll be an extra $1,500, $1,500. Before COVID, that was $500. Now it's $1,500, and that's not the total cost. Riese and Muller's finding that they're paying much more than that to send them. So this is the price, including New Zealand dollars. From here, it's also handy you can download the PDF configuration of this stuff. Now that's quite important to know because this configuration code here, that's valid for the rest of this season at best. Sometimes different options are put in here and there, and these little numbers change. So you can't rely on this link always getting you back to here. So downloading the actual PDF for a hard copy record of all this stuff is quite useful. By all means, press this if you want to. It'll get sent to Riese and Muller, and then they will send it to us. That's fine, but you can also just send us this link, or the PDF configuration code is another way to do it. Now, if you want to get out from here, say you wanted to try a different Homage and see what the costs were, perhaps you're interested in the roll-off. Again, you go to configure, pick your different bikes and pick something else. If you wanted to get right back out to all the bikes, bikes again, or no matter where you found yourself somewhere on the website, you can always go back through the menu to bikes. Okay, so that's it. It's how to find your way around the Riese and Muller website and all the models and options in New Zealand prices.